Hi friends, it's Kim and I'm excited to be back to share a little bit about how I'm going to set up my day in the life story play pages for this coming Saturday, April 1st, 2023. So I'm going to be using Canva and the digital version of the story play kit for Day in the Life from Ali Edwards Design. And I'm going to walk you through my thought process in setting up the pages. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to show you how I use some of the digitals in Canva to create some of the cards that are going to go in the pockets. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you'll see on my screen right now, I laid out my pages to sort of get a visual overview of how I wanted them to match up with the pockets. I'm using a 6x8 album that I started specifically for Day in the Life. So they will all these stories will live together in a Day in the Life album, which is 6x8. And for this particular project for 2023, I chose to use this pocket page configuration, which I'm going to walk you through right now. So this one right here is the back side of the last Day in the Life that I did. So it's a 4 pocket page. These are 3x4 cards here. And I want to fill that in so that it kind of flows with this project. And I'm not exactly sure what those will be yet. Part of me thinks they might be actually some black and white photos that are black and white versions of the photos that I end up using on the colored pages, sort of to see them transform or come to life through the project. The next one I have here is I'm gonna expand this out so you guys can see. This is going to be a 4x8 page protector. And then on the back side, I do have another saying that is from one of the digitals that I altered. I just don't have that in my design right now. So just know that that's going to be black on both sides. There's Ali's hand art on the other side. And then we go into my page pocket configuration, which is a 2 3x4 cards and a 4x6 card. And that will be the same pattern repeated through. So we've got the story, we've got the first color yellow, and I kind of mocked it up here to show how I'm going to have the 3x4 cards, this 3x4 card, the 4x6, and then I overlaid this one strip across the bottom of the photo that I can write a little bit about the photo or a caption or something like that. And then this ends up being more like a list. There's 5 different tabs there. Likely I will type it in there, but I could handwrite it in there too. I'm just not sure yet. And then we come down to the 2x2 pocket pages. So these are a 4x8 pocket page protector with 8 2x2 slots. And I thought it would be fun to collect little bits and pieces of things in my life that fit with the colors. There could be photos there too, for sure. But what if it's something that came in the mail, or if it's, you know, your Doritos chip bag that happens to be orange, or, you know, whatever I could sort of collect pieces of my life that represented color, not just photos. So that's my thought process behind using the pockets. I also did go through and pull out some chipboard from different Ali's kits that I have broken up, and found some pieces that match the color to go along with that. So as I scroll down, you'll see that I did exactly the same repeated formula for each color. And I have not set up all of these with the little tabs in them yet, but I'm going to show you how to do that in the next section. So here we're scrolling through all of the colors, and I noticed that the story detail cards, or these are actually, if you click on it, you can see it's actually the digital version of the little chipboard tag. And so I just expanded it enough so that, it's not going to go down on me. I just expanded it up beyond the page so that I could cover that little hole, and it fit the card, the 3x4 card, perfectly. I did end up printing these story detail cards on a transparency. So I created all of these. I've since deleted it in my demo here, but I completed them all and printed them out. Like, I just layered them all on a 10x8 design here and just printed them all out and cut them all out. I wanted that little softer, a softer version of the color, and I like the way that they look on the transparency. But I also noticed, if I go into the digital kit here, that there is story detail cards 1 through 5, and I wanted to have story detail cards for all of the colors that I was using. So there was something green, there was something black, and there was something white. So I went ahead and made my own story detail cards to match, and I will show you a little bit about how I did that in just a little bit as well. So excuse me. So we're going to go through, and you'll see that I have completed it for every single color here. I do also have these pages pulled in here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use them in my album, but if I do, I'll probably adhere them back to back in a 6x8 page projector at the end of this section. So let me switch gears here, and we will transition into how I did some of these things in Canva. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how I did this section of today for this 1 4x6 card. And the digital actually looks like this when you get it. So it's a full page, and I'm going to flip back and forth here. I have 2 designs open. So I have an 8x10 design, and I have a 4x6 design. And this is how my cards kind of look laid out on my 4x6 design. And the initial idea was to download them and run them through as a 4x6 print on my Epson PM400, which I love. I love that little printer, so I want to use it as much as I possibly can, and it works perfect for pocket pages. So, but because I've already done my story detail cards on the transparency, I just needed to make a couple of adjustments for that, which I'll get to in just a bit. So this is the today card that I wanted for the 4x6 pocket. And what I'm going to do is recreate this card. So there was 2 ways. You can see here that I have just enlarged the design to center it onto the 4x6 page here. So let's go ahead and I'll show you that again. So I'm going to grab the file from this one that I already have opened, but you can certainly just, you can go grab it from the day in the life as well and click on it, and it'll come in. It'll come into your design. So either way is fine. And since I've done this, I'll just do this again. So way number 1 initially was to enlarge it to the outside dimensions of the 4x6 card. And when I did that, I noticed that it wasn't actually centered because this is probably sized for outside the page protector. So in order to compensate for that, I just kept enlarging it a little bit more, and till I found like that it would be centered inside of the 4x6 card here. And I need to get rid of now, obviously, this part of it. So I'm going to double click on it again. Whoops. Sorry, I'm going to click on it again. And find, this is not doing what I wanted to do. Crop. I want to crop it. And it's not doing it. Hold on one second, guys. We're going to figure this out and why it's not doing what I need it to do. Okay, so I backed out of everything. I used my back button, and now we're back to the beginning again. And what you want to make sure is that these little side tabs are still showing. And what I think happened was when I expanded it, it attached itself to the background of the page. So let's try this again. And I'm going to expand it all the way to the side. And see, the tabs are still there. And now I want to make sure that I can sort of expand it beyond the page so I can center it or where it looks centered. And now the tabs are still there again. So what I'm going to do is grab the bottom tab and I'm going to bring it all the way back up and crop it, and I'm going to crop all that other stuff out. So you'll kind of see like this is the part where if it was sized for outside your page protector, this is where your holes would be down here, and then the rest of it is centered on your design. So that's probably the simplest way to do it. There are other tools within Canva. If you have the Pro version, you could remove the background and still crop, but because this is on white anyway, I don't need to remove the background. There's also a new tool called Erase, and you could erase parts of this yellow section here. And maybe I'll do that at the end of the video just to kind of show you how that new tool works. So there is my today card, and then I can go ahead and, you know, type in a paragraph box. I can set it up here ready to go. I just typed a T on my keyboard, but you can also insert text over here with using the text feature. I'm going to reset that to be a handwriting type of font, and I'm just going to pull that down. No, not handwriting. I want typewriter. Sorry about that. And I like to use Special Elite. And I'm going to change the font size down to about a 10 and justify it to the left to start writing. And that's black, but I kind of like to use the one just below black. It's just that tinge bit softer. And so now my text box is set up and I'm ready to start typing on Saturday. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set up the journal cards and show you how I did that part of it. So I've got another 4x6 page here, and I'm going to go ahead and insert the card, the journal card here. So clicked on the digital file, and I'm going to drag it into position and expand it so it is now measuring 3x4. And the measurements do show up here in the little bottom black box. The measurements don't show up if you're setting this up on a tablet or a phone. So I do recommend setting the templates up on a laptop, desktop, something with a larger screen, so you have all the features available to Canva, and you can follow along with what I'm showing you. So This is something yellow, and you could very easily put in a photo here if I wanted to do that. So I'm going to give you a quick tip on how to do that, just as a little bonus. So I'm going to scroll down to my elements section, and I'm going to grab a photo grid and resize it. And I noticed that it went into the back behind the card. So I'm going to click on position, and I'm going to arrange it to the front. Canva now has made some updates recently, and they have the option, if you are familiar with programs that have layers, they now have a layer menu, so you can easily drag and drop things on a layer menu if you wanted to do that, as opposed to you know, just sending it to backwards or to the back. So some people are visual, some people just want to click it and be done. So I don't know how many layers I have here now, and I think I've confused myself, so let's try this again. I'm going to bring this to the front, and I'm going to resize it to fit over top of that gray area on the journal card, and just like that. So if I wanted to, now that's kind of set up for, I'm just making sure all the gray is covered and that it looks even. So now that's set up, so we could put a photo in there if we wanted to. Or the other thing you can do with the journal card, which is what I did, is I just duplicated it on my page. So you can see these are two 3x4 sections. And I want to add the little strips of, the little white strips with the heart on them. This here is all of the colors, so I can see all the colors available. And then the yellow section, there's actually two different colors. There's a lighter and a darker version of it. So I think in my original, I might have tried it alternating the colors, and then I realized that not every color had the ability to alternate. So I ended up going with the lighter yellow. So I need to find the lighter yellow, and because these are such a large element, I can't actually see where the yellow is. So one thing you can do is you can just start clicking on them until you find the yellow one, and then delete the ones you don't want. Or you can hover over the little three dots up here, and it will show you the file name. And so that one says teal. I don't want teal. That one says yellow. Okay, then now that's the one I know I would want to use, right? But since I want the lighter yellow, let's see if we can find the lighter yellow one. That one's pink. That one's light yellow. So let's use that one. And you can see the difference here. So I just dragged it over to the gray area where I wanted it, and then I'm going to crop the edge something like this, or maybe I'll just let it hang over so I'm not getting any of the gray on the edge, and position it in place till I kind of get the sizing right. And then I'm going to copy that a couple times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. And I'm not too worried about the placement because I'm going to get Canva to align it for me in this next step. So I want to group all of these together and do the alignment trick or the tidy up trick, but it won't work with the journal card in place. So I'm just going to actually just going to delete the journal card for a minute, and we'll re-add it in a minute. So I'm going to group all of these together, drag my mouse down over top of those misaligned little pieces, and I'm going to click on position. And here I want to use the tidy up feature. And get ready for this. I'm going to click it, and they're magically going to go into place. Ta-da! So now they're all perfectly aligned, perfectly spaced. I'm going to group them. So now they group and move around together as one. And if you need to make any adjustments, you can absolutely ungroup them again. And now I want to go ahead and actually add back in my yellow card. Because I'm recording, it's not going to, whoops, that's not the way I want to do it. Because I'm recording, my hotkey is a little bit different, so it actually stops the recording, so I can't just copy and paste, but I would just copy and, delete it and then paste it back in place in the same spot, if that makes sense. So now I've overlapped it. I need to change the position back to the back again, and here I have my journal cards. Now, because it's not quite, there's a little bit more gray space down here, and because they're all grouped together, I can just slide that down, and you'll see the purple magenta line go across the center, and it's telling me now it's in alignment, it's centered on the 4x6 card. So that's what I did to create the journal cards like these ones down here. So I just did that same process, paired them up on a 4x6 and downloaded them and printed them out. So now you'll notice that I have green and green, black and white. And so we have all the tools for that in the digital kit, but we didn't have the matching little tags. So let me show you how I went about creating those. Okay, so here is an example of the green card all set up, and I needed to make a matching story detail card for it. So what I did was I took another story detail card. So let's just pull in this pink one, for example. Maybe it's a little bit too light to show on camera. Let's just use the yellow one because you guys will see that. And put that in place to the 4x6 again. Drag it out to 3 inches wide, position it up, and there we have it. So for me to do this in this version, I'm going to show a pro feature, and I'm going to use the background remover. For those of you that don't have the background remover, I would suggest trying to find a font within Canva just to create story detail, and you can see how I do that with the numbers and then apply the same effect to the words. So go ahead and click on edit photo, and I'm going to remove the background, and it should remove the yellow, but it also removed some of the story on that card. So let's not use that card. Unfortunately, I don't know which card I used to create the sorry, can't think and talk at the same time. Let's just keep trying it, and hopefully, see there, that one worked fine. I'm not missing any of the yellow pieces. Clicked on background remover, and so now we have that set up. To create the color behind it, I'm just going to add a rectangle. So I'm going to actually hit R on my keyboard, but you can go into Elements and you can search for a rectangle in the search bar, and that will come up as well. So here's my rectangle. I'm going to resize it to a 3x4 card like that. And I'm eventually going to change that color. So let's go ahead and change the color to match the green on the little heart strip there. And I'm going to click on the add a color, the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to bring it over to the heart. And now it's going to fill in that card to be the exact same match. I'm going to click on position and send it to the back, and then I'm going to slide it behind my story detail. So the next thing I need to do is change the number. And in this case, I need it to be 06. And let's just see what font I used. Gillum Bold was, I just played around in the font section to try and find something that was similar. So let's create a text box. And because I was using Gillum Bold before, Canva remembered that and gave me a text box with that in it already. So here's my 06. That's what I needed to say. We're going to resize that super big, and we're going to try to put it over top of where the numbers would be. So I'm trying to get my sizing approximate to what is there now, if you follow me on this. So that, I mean, I'm just trying to get close. So that looks pretty good. The top here, the bottom here. And then I'm just going to lay it over top. It's not the exact same font, guys. You can play around a little bit more if you want to be that precise and find something that's a closer match. Unfortunately, I don't know the font that Allie used on these cards, so I'm okay with using this effect and this font. I mean, so what I'm going to do now is I want to make this font hollow. So I'll do it over here so it's easier for you to see. I'm going to click on my text box. I'm going to click on effects, and then I'm going to go to the style that says hollow, and I'm going to click it. And now I can actually adjust down the thickness of the line. So trying to think of something. I don't know what thickness I used above here. I used 1. Okay, let's take it down all the way to 1. It doesn't look as identical as this one, so I don't know. That's 146. This one's 147. Let's do 147. 148. Let's see, 147. There we go. So 147 gives me solid lines all the way around, and I know that's the approximate size. I'm going to layer it over top. I sort of get the same effect. You can tell that my number 0 is more skinny than Allie's original version, but that's okay. Now I'm going to click on this story card here, and I want to actually crop out the number 4, and I want to replace it with the number 6. And ta-da! We now have a new story card. To do this story card for the black and the white, it's not so many steps because I can already use some of the pieces that I've already done. So I'm going to duplicate the page and slide that out. I'm just going to change this color to black and slide it back in and change this font from black to white and change the number from 6 to 7 and just reposition it. Now I have story detail number 7, and then for number 8, I think I used like a light. I used a gray, I think. And you know what? I think I used a dark gray. Let me just double check. I did. I used a dark gray with the so I could still have a black number. And then I used a light gray over here so I could use the black number. So let's see, we'll just change that to maybe that, and then black, back to black, and then this one back to black as well and change that to 8. And now, guys, I have my additional 3 cards that I needed to match the color cards. So you can see my originals were, I'm going to move these out. So my originals were up here, and now I have my 3 new ones down here, and they look pretty good. They're pretty close. So let me see. I'm going to pause the video for a second and see if there's anything else I want to show you in this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did decide I wanted to show you one more thing. So I have this set up as a placeholder, and there is a trick to doing this as a placeholder. So for right now, if I wanted to slide something pink in here, say I have my pink photo. Let's just put some tulips in here. It's going to go right in, and this is already in place, and I can just type over it, which is what you want to do. You want to kind of set up your template in advance first, so it makes it quick and easy for you on your documenting day to just slide your photos in. You can use your phone, your tablet, whatever. So in order to do this, I'm going to demonstrate what would happen here. So we'll take our elements, we'll add a grid here for our photo placeholder, and then I will go back to my digitals and I will find the pink one. That one's light yellow. I don't remember where it was in the order. There it is, right there. So that's the pink heart, and if you notice, I enlarged it and I actually flipped it. So I had the heart going in a different direction. So we're going to go ahead and flip that horizontal from your white toolbar at the top, and I want to drag it into place. But the minute I touch this, it's going to suck it into my photo grid like this, and it's there somewhere. And that's not what we want to happen. So I'm going to use my back button. I'm actually going to take the photo out of the picture. So let's maybe duplicate this for the sake of recording, because if I use my cut tool, it's going to turn off my video. So duplicate this. No, duplicate this. There we go. And I'm actually going to delete that so I can show you what I want to do. So I want to enlarge this and bring it down a little bit. Double click on it, bring the heart back. So I want to have a room enough for maybe 1 or 2 lines of text over top of my photo. And drag this just off just slightly so I know it's going to cover the whole photo, and then I'm going to drag this down into position, kind of where I think I want it to go, and leave that there. Now I want to take this photo and my photo grid and bring it back up and put it back on my page. And you'll notice that it went in front. So again, we're just going to position it to the back. And now I have my template set up. That's one of the easiest ways to do it. And you're good to go. So now I don't need this page anymore. But if I wanted to, I could actually copy this. And I could use this sort of as a scrap piece of paper. And so for any other color that I wanted to do, I can use it sort of as a template. I can flip them around, overlay it, and then just get my sizing right. And then that one's ready to go. So if I wanted to create one for the teal or the blue page, you know, I'm just copying and pasting, except I moved it up. So guys, don't do that. Overlay it where you want it to go, copy, paste it, and it will go into the exact position every time. So now I know these two cards here, sorry, let me zoom out. These two cards, these labels are now in the exact same position on each one. So that's my little tip for that. So I'm going to post some photos of the project as I go along. Feel free to ask me any questions on anything I've shown you today. And I hope you'll play along on Saturday with the everyday colors and a day in the life. Thanks for watching.